are we doing this for?
Oh, how long?
At least an hour.
Kevin's the only one that measures stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
We're talking time.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Actually,
where does he measure from?
You can snip that part out. Mike, snip this part out.
No, we're not snipping anything out.
I'm not talking about snipping.
Dan, play the thing real quick.
I don't have it set up. You have to. I'm
play
sorry.
it for Josh's sake and mine.
Oh my goodness!
You guys talk while I do it. I have to pull the file up. I've been sick. I forgot how to.
You can look at this awesome poster while you're finding it.
Oh my god, dude!
It's just gonna start.
There we go.
I'm used to working with a pro.
And do not necessarily reflect those of everyone involved. Basically, if someone says something wild, don't come after the rest of us. We're just as confused as you are. Oh, and just a heads up. Sometimes a few colorful words slip out. You've been warned.
Nothing's getting cut from this up, and I can't see nothing, Mike.
We're safe.
Listen, we're cutting. If we need to cut this thing, we're cutting it. I don't care what you say about not cutting.
I don't cut. I don't do any edits. You want edits? You talk to Dave. You can download it on your end. I don't know. Hey,
you don't say anything you don't want it to be out in the world.
Welcome back to Reseller Leftovers Podcast, the world's #1, most mediocre podcast in the world. That would be the world's most in the world. I don't know. Anyway, hey, we've got actual serious guests on here, so we're going to take this opportunity to be a little more
serious every week.
And let's just start off with, now, Josh, you're super unfamiliar, or you're not as familiar as you could be, but we like to always hit our guests with tough questions. So, in your opinion,
dude, what are you talking about, dude? No, I am not. I'm not, dude. 204. It's getting cut. It's getting cut. 204 to 223.
Is that why you went and got a pen and paper?
Yep.
Is that why you got pen and paper? I got a piece of paper ready.
All right, Dan, you are now in charge of this podcast.
But then Kevin's like, Mike, I'll send you a list of my demands. Once you agree, you can give me the details. Josh thinks it's a joke. He said it wasn't a joke. You don't know Mike.
Yeah.
So what Mike do you want, Kevin? Because I started off a conversation very professional.
I want the fake Mike. I want the fake Mike for the next hour. That's what I want. That's what I'm demanding.
I'm keeping in the first part though.
The real Joe, the real Dan, the real Josh, the fake Mike. Matter of fact, I prefer Mike to just leave for now, as long as you can keep recording.
Okay.
Would be beneficial. Hey, let's get to this, man. Let's get to
this.
Yeah, we got to get this podcast monetized for one, which is going to be a monumental feat. If Dave couldn't do it, you know.
That's Joe's making money off this podcast. Did you know that, Kevin?
Who is?
Joe is. Joe's the only one making money off this podcast.
Why don't we get friendly with Josh? Y'all don't know Josh? Do you ever watch PPP?
I've seen a few episodes.
Did you watch him back in the day when he went live all the time, and then everybody hated him, then everybody loved him, and then everybody hated him, and then everybody it was good. It was like drama. It was good stuff. I miss it.
Oh, Josh gets into the drama.
He took the career trajectory of you, huh?
Hey, he's got 10,000 subs, y'all. I think that's right. Didn't you hit 10,000, Josh?
I do have 10,000, yes.
And he could care less about them, and he doesn't monetize anything. You know, he's just too good for all that stuff. Too good for all that. But he was at eBay Open. Can we start with that?
eBay Open, yeah.
Can we start with that?
We start with eBay Open? Yeah. I mean, we started with it before you decided to show up late.
Well, it was before it. Well, maybe the listeners want to hear about eBay Open.
Yeah. That's why Kevin doesn't need people coming in his defense. They'll be in the comments, okay? This is not how it works.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. I heard nothing but good things, Josh. I really, really did. Even John. Yeah.
Yeah, I came in with pretty low expectations, Kevin. I was, like eBay's been beating up on people a little bit with fees and everything else. So I came in with low expectations. I thought it was just going to be kind of like a corporate do about where you kind of show up and there's booths and everything else. It was a party. It really was. And they had, I think, like 300 employees there answering questions. I was pretty impressed with the way it went, the whole thing. And, John came back with a lot of answers. I had a good time. I met a lot of vendors, met a lot of people, kind of got a little bit of the inside scoop as to what they're going to roll out over the next little bit. So it was definitely worth it. I want to go back next year for sure.
Yeah.
Have you been before, Kevin? Have you been?
No, I've never been to eBay Open. I met up with a bunch of eBay folks when I went to the Boss, and was able to speak to a lot of people. And of course, we've talked about it before. I talked to Adam over there, but I've never been to an actual eBay event.
Wait, I have a stupid question. Do you just sign up? Anyone can sign up to go to eBay Open?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just register. They sent, I think, I don't know, was it an invite? And then I think everybody got the link to register to go to the live event.
Yep.
Kevin's probably been 4 times. It's just part of the NDA.
Oh God, dude, don't start.
Is eBay gonna do the automatic payments? I'm still wondering about that.
The automatic payments, like
haven't they been talking about that for?
What automatic payments?
I did read, like if somebody does an auction win or something.
Yeah,
I did hear something, and Josh may be able to comment on this better about the expansion, quote unquote, of verifying buyers on auctions or something like that. That might actually tie into the fact that they're doing eBay Live as well. That may need, because that's what you're doing eBay Live. You want that stuff. So I don't know though.
They're really leaning into eBay Live. That was a big theme. They were, they had the Backstreet Boys. They were doing a live sale in the eBay auction booth. It's crazy.
We can't compete with them.
I like the fanboy. Josh was a fanboy.
Yeah, I was a fanboy. They pushed right past me. They bumped into me, and I looked at them, and I'm like, did I go to high school with you guys or university? I think I recognize you guys from somewhere. Did I work with you? And then, then the girls kind of came running behind. So
they should have got the New Kids on the Block.
Yeah, I know. That's what Anissa was saying. Should have got them instead. But they're going to do within 3 hours. They're going to have it so that a buyer pays within 3 hours of your auction ending, unless they're going to buy something else from you in auction, so that they can combine the shipments.
So I don't know how they do it. I buy a lot of sports cards on eBay, and like the auction I won last night, I had 1 hour to pay, or it automatically charged me. Yeah. And then there's another. If you buy from a consignor, they have it. I don't know how they have it set up, but it charges after six days. You have like 7 days to pay, because you can build a stack to get shipped to you. But anytime I win an auction, it's always like you have 1 hour or automatically you're going to charge your credit card on file.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. And they said they're going to roll out some sort of buyer program, approved buyer or preferred buyer. They didn't really expand on that. So I don't know if that's going to impact the payments thing too. I don't really know, but it was something they want to do moving forward.
Yeah, I heard y'all talking about it live when you and John were live from there with Scott. You were talking about the INAD thing, like the resolution that they've come up with that, where it's kind of I don't know. I look at it and think of it as like a middle ground. It still chaps my hide. See, there you go, Kevin. Chaps my hide.
I just want you to know, Mike, I shouted that my video is coming out on Thursday, and it's telling people who want more information about List Easier to come watch this podcast. So I will pull the plug on that sucker so fast if you don't behave. I'm just telling you.
I did it. I just did it.
I love it. I love it.
Anyway,
which also means we have to get the List Easier in the first 20 minutes. Matter of fact, we'll timestamp below so that my people can, because they don't want to listen to Mike,
I know.
Joe, maybe. Dan, for sure.
But it's big news with this one, because we've all experienced it. And it's the fact that eBay had made the determination to make sellers whole on situations where they're not claiming items or have been delivered when it shows that.
To me, that was the biggest of all the little announcements, that changed things. To me, that was the biggest, in my opinion. I mean, all of them were thumbs up to me. Every single one of those things. Some of them didn't apply, but all of them were good steps in the right direction.
If you look at eradicating the INAD on parts repair, that was another huge thing.
Yeah.
Just because somebody doesn't do their due diligence in reading a description and orders the wrong thing. I mean, it's costing.
Josh talked about that on his live the other day. I think that was a big topic of conversation.
Guys, I'm telling you, they're changing direction. There's a directional change there. I mean, Liz, I don't know. Do you guys know Liz Morton at all from Value Added Resource?
I don't. Nope.
She runs a news site, it's like an e-commerce news site, but she disagrees with me on this point. But I truly believe You know her, Kevin. She did an article on us the one time.
No, was that? Are you sure that wasn't e-commerce?
Start knowing people, guys.
Both of them.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah. Regardless,
I didn't like that article.
She
just saying.
I mean, I do believe, like, I sensed a shift, and everybody who was there kind of sensed a shift that they are trying to rebuild that community sort of thing, which was lost over the past 5 years. So,
and Josh, you know this, and you guys, if you watch my channel, you might remember this. But and he's talking about that article. I was excoriated, as was Josh, I believe. I don't want to speak for him, for talking to them. And that was the main point. It's like, you guys have got to get back to somehow. I understand, you got to do things for your bottom line. I get that. But there is a real divide amongst sellers and eBay where there used to be, I was like, do all the stupid stuff you want to do that ticks us off, that's fine. But don't do it, stuff that ticks us off. But you've got to create this feeling that the eBay used to have, that the seller and eBay had some kind of connection, and it just was lost. And you could see there was people, in my opinion, there was people that were put in place, or for whatever reason, who realized that that was an issue, and they started to mend fences in communication. But this is a behemoth, and it takes a while to move. And I believe that those were the very beginning steps of moving in this direction. It's never going to be perfect. That's why I was crushed for it. I was beat up in an article for it. I was beat up across all my platforms. Josh was as well. And I'm just happy that where they can see some things that they can work with us on, they do it. Even if some of the bigger things they can't, or they don't want to, or they can't talk about. But at least take those things that are no-brainers. The feedback thing, that's not a huge big deal. But it's a step in our direction, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
And so I was very pleased that there were steps. Now, it might be followed up with, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Who knows? But I felt good about this, and I wasn't even there.
Yeah. Hey, so we're 13 minutes in, and Kevin made a point earlier. I don't want to let this go on too long because Josh and Kevin decided to come on here, and it's with great reason and great pleasure that we have them on here to discuss this stuff, because anytime that I get excited in reselling, especially coming back in, like, it is tough. My wife, like, I've been running some live shows, but to sit down and list and stuff and know that there's a path that's going to increase that tenfold, 100-fold. We needed somebody on here that could do it justice and explain everything properly.
And since y'all screwed it all up last episode and couldn't figure it out and everything, I figured let's just get straight from the horse's mouth this time.
That's right.
So why don't you guys ask the questions, and then I'll get to the ones that I have that I've been sent. Because, Josh, I work with a lot of people. I've worked with a lot of companies. I've done whatever. I have never got as many questions about something in anything that I've worked with, not even the Bubblegate scandal, as I have about this already.
It's new. It's it's breaking the market. It's at the front of the market. So it's something that we've never had before. And now everyone has to adapt and adjust to it. So it's a monumental shift. It's a huge shift. I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with it. A lot of people don't understand it. And then there are people who are just like leaning in 100% and like, this is the greatest thing in the world. But it is going in this direction. Like, you can't close Pandora's box again. It's open and it's out, and this is how it's going to be now, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever side of the coin you're on.
Yeah.
Well, it's great because my first question that I have actually in watching more in depth of your stuff and rewatching a lot of the Profit Playbook podcasts to apply it to this episode, I put down some questions. But what do you say to the skeptics of AI? Because a lot of them are they're already using it without knowing it. But
can I start with this, Josh? Let me do something real quick and to set you up. And plus, Joe's going to have to say a word here because he looks frozen. What do you look like? I mean,
this is.
You look like
I'm here.
Listen, I talked to Josh because you could see this coming. I was hearing from all kinds of people. You could see all kinds of different things changing, and so I just made a decision about a month and a half ago to start walking people down this road so they weren't shocked. And I did it in the most mild way in that first video, and I lost a ton of subs. Didn't mention an AI lister.
Yeah,
Yes, didn't mention an AI lister. Didn't mention anything. I was trying to walk people to, because it's like me. I don't want, and Josh, you might not like to hear this, but if I could take all of AI and put it back in a bottle and leave it for the next 50 years, I would do it. However, you can't. It's not going to happen. And so you have to be able to figure out where you're going to go from here. Can you be the same, do the same, still have, rudimentary success, be happy, live your life, go to garage sales, make, $800 a month? Probably. Yeah, I think so. But this, I think he's exactly right. This is just a game changer. Now I forgot what your question was, Mike. So,
well, I want to say you asked about the people who are
skeptical.
They're scared of it, or they're against it, or they're like, I don't want to deal with this. So you have two kinds of AI, and I don't want to conflate the two. The first one is, what they're putting in drones. It's artificial general intelligence. It's learning from you, and it's doing all these crazy things. And, that gets us thinking about Terminator movies and everything else. And like, this is not the world we want to live in. But you have things like List Easier or those kinds of AI tools where it's just taking redundancies that are in your business and doing it for you. So, at the end of the day, the AI will always be able to do it faster, more accurate, and optimized much more than any human. Despite what any human says they can do, the AI is always going to be better at it. It just can calculate so much more, so much quicker. And, when it comes to redundant tasks, you're hiring someone to basically do it for you. So it's not learning from you. It's not, it's not going to hunt you down naked in the woods or anything like that. But it will, it will do these tasks that you are doing that are redundant, that you sit there in front of the computer and you're like, I'm so sick and tired of putting in item specifics like theme and genre and all these other things. Why does it matter? It does it for you to optimize the listings.
Listen, Josh, I got to this conclusion where I was going to adopt it. I was, because there's part of me that's like, screw it. I'm going to be the different guy. I'm going to be like the old school guy, the guy in the shed in the backyard. And I'm going to appeal to the viewers that are like me and don't want change and whatever. And then I'm like, this is dumb. Because essentially, and I think this was Mike's point, this thing is doing exactly what I do. If I take a picture of this mug right here with my camera and on eBay and have them look it up, I find that comp, I'm hitting that button, I'm looking at the title, I'm looking at I don't see what's already in there and whatever. That's exactly what this is, but on a huge scale. It's doing exactly what you've done on a big scale at 100 times the speed. Well, that might be a little blown up, but I'll let you comment.
100 times my speed easily.
Well, Mike spends most of his time, Josh. Sorry, I got to interrupt. I always do this. Mike spends most of his time reorganizing, organizing, and reorganizing his bins. That's basically what he does. He's not really a reseller.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I would say that a lot of people are resistant to it, but those same people will use Google reverse image search to look up stuff to see, what is it worth and what exactly is it, which is really only a few years old. And what that artificial intelligence is doing is taking one picture and then it's kind of best matching, and it actually does a really good job. So currently the AIs can take multiple points on multiple pictures and any other inputs that you give it and even be more accurate. So a lot of the people that are resistant, like Kevin said, they're using it anyway. If you're on eBay uses artificial intelligence. Google reverse image search is artificial intelligence. When you're searching for something on eBay, you're going through their artificial intelligence. So it's already everywhere. And within 3 years, everyone is going to be using some program like List Easier to List. It's too accurate. They won't allow people to do it themselves because it messes up their database. Eventually, everyone has to use these programs no matter what. That's the future.
Now, that's something that I've noticed from you. It's like you just made the statement that it's too accurate. And it seems to be more applicable to List Easier than a lot of the other people that are a lot of the offerings within the industry. I mean, do you stand behind that statement?
Yeah, 100%. So with List Easier, and I'll just put this for everything out there really, but there was a sense of kind of gold rush where you can just create something that connects to ChatGPT, and what it's doing is basically asking ChatGPT for you, and then giving you answers back and filling in item specific. So what they call those AI programs are ChatGPT wrappers. So it's just an interface. The problem with that, and this is going to get a little bit technical, is that eBay has a conduit by which you speak to it with, and that's called the eBay API. This is some of the most complicated infrastructure you'll ever see in your life. It dates all the way back to the 1990s. It's confusing. It doesn't interface properly with their own platform. So really what you have to do is prompt each category, each search, everything so that it's optimized to work well with the API and work well with eBay. So now you have a program like List Easier, which has over 1 million lines of code, and you compare that to Facebook, which is 2 million lines of code. You can see how complicated and expensive the infrastructure is to build in order to get a working program that's really accurate and doing the things you need it to do and interfacing with eBay. So that's why, and some other proprietary things, that's why List Easier is so far ahead of the other ones. And it's also, and again, for some proprietary reasons, that we can offer it at such a low price compared to the other people. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No. That's perfectly fine. Now, the one thing is, you had made a statement when y'all were discussing it before between yourself and John, where you basically ascertained, like, if you don't do this, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a fair question. Yeah. Let me go right into that, because I know where you're going with that. So, you have people that this just isn't for. So when I'm saying stuff like that, I'm talking to businesses. Like, the businesses are going to have to adopt this because they're going to be forced to anyway. So you have this like 3-year runway where you can really juice your business and get ahead of the curve. There are people that are like, you know what? I just like to go to the garage sale on the weekend, get 5 or 6 things. I want to buy a bicycle, an ironing board, a pair of jeans. With that kind of person where it's more of a hobby and less of a business, I mean, do your thing. It might not be for you. But the business side of things, and we can see it from our side because we can see who's signing up for this. When the businesses take it, they're like, make more money in less time, and they run with it. So the message I'm trying to get to people is, this is your opportunity to play hardball with everyone else, because they will, over 3 years, fill up their accounts with items. And then when it's made available to everyone, we lose our advantage. And that's kind of the message I'm trying to drive home as small businesses.
Right.
Yeah.
And not to save everybody 30 minutes, because Kevin dropped a video today that explained, or Monday the 18th, over on Commonwealth Flipper. Kevin, what kind of changes has it brought? And what changes are you still looking to implement?
Well,
do you want to tap that out?
Yeah, well, let me do this. I'll walk back
versus
a little bit.
Just say, don't say go watch my video.
No. Listen, I'll walk back a little to the beginning. I started to walk down this road with my own skeptical, whatever. But I have access to a lot of people because people watch my channel. I thank people for it all the time. And through this process, I've had that. And I'm not a technical mind at all. I'm like old and dumb, take forever to learn. But I do see things in a way that helps me look into the future a little bit. That sounds really bad, but I can see the big picture, I guess I could say. I don't know, the micro stuff makes no sense. The API stuff and whatever, that's drowning me out. But you can see the trends, and you could see different products coming on, and I'd get people like, oh, have you seen AI's descriptions and how terrible they are and whatever? That's their argument against AI, and I get that. But you got to get out of that mold for a second when you look at this stuff. And you got to look at everything. Cost is a huge thing. I'm like, I'm not going to push this thing. I can't push this thing. This is terrible. This isn't worth it. Let's put it that way. And so I tried to sit back and just sit and wait and talk to people And when I started to figure out the minutia stuff, some of it with help from Josh, to be frank, because I can't figure this stuff out. And Josh is no technical whiz either. He's probably 10 levels above me. But I just saw this and I thought, this is where it's going. And this is likely the place to get ahead. So for me to change what I do, I don't list on a computer. I don't even edit my videos on a computer. I hate computers. I wouldn't be able to do this with you if it wasn't for Dave on here. It'd be my phone, right?
You're barely able to do it right now with that connection.
Shut up. Is it that bad? You guys look clear as could be. Anyway, I made the decision to do this. And so right now I'm in a holding pattern because the very first part, not to pump Josh's product up too much here, the very beginning of what I did, I was so in love with it. And Jess was doing it with me because Jess is slightly more technically savvy than me. And so I wanted her to learn with me and her to help me and me to help her. And we've done that. And I had a few questions. I still have a few. A lot of them have been answered. One of them was something simple the other day, being able to crop the image in this and as opposed to that. And they've already fixed that. And customer service for dummies like me, all those kinds of issues. But we did 2 simple just test runs, I think 3 pairs of shoes and 2 of this, just to get our bearings. And then we did 41 hats. And Jess took the pictures, thank goodness. And we're trying to even figure out, okay, we take the pictures on what? On the phone? What's the easiest way to get it to the computer? You know, we got to have business policies, which I fortunately have for the shipping. That's one part of it that a lot of people don't want to transition from, that they'll need to. And I literally got those, and we did them one afternoon, took the pictures, loaded them in there and whatever. I'm like, okay, I'll deal with this in the morning. I was busy or something. I literally got a cup of coffee, and I sat down on my couch because it was too dang hot outside. And before I finished that cup of coffee, 41 things were listed. And I'm like, holy freaking moly, man.
So is that how it works? Is that how it works? All from the start of it is just a picture, and then it just...
Josh, go ahead with that one.
Yeah. So like Kevin said, there are a few things that you need to adjust to get the program working for you. You need to set up business policies, your return policy and everything else. Then you create a template. And then in that template, you need to fill out whatever information you think will help the AI. So the category is a big one. You put in your SKU, all these other things. If it's a men's hat, put in men's hat. And then you can let AI fill out the rest. But now you save that template, and you can use that template forever and ever. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, I shouldn't have interrupted right there. But it was that process makes people who started off, because my first one is like, man, I could have listed 13 things in the time I listed these 3. Because I don't know what I'm doing, right? Because I don't know these steps, because I didn't quite realize, hey, I'm building this template that I'm going to use 100 times in the future.
Yeah.
So now the next time, that's why I've put it on a holding pattern. That's why I've got all Mike's junk out of that trailer and selling it off on Dibdit. Y'all come and join us the next 2 weeks. Dibdit.com. Should be fun. I'm selling all this stuff, making a lot of money.
Code Commonwealth. Don't forget it.
Oh, speaking of, you better put my code in this video description in the comments. Just saying.
Okay.
All right. I'm teasing. Partly.
I'm keeping that first part.
The least easier one. But I took all that stuff out of that trailer, and I'm like, I'll be danged if I'm going to put that stuff back in there. I am going to use that trailer, but on top of that, I want to get stuff sold so that my incoming is now sorting, because I want 100 hats before I list them. I'm just going to click hat and have those pictures, and I'm going to put them all in there. So the processing of what I have, a lot of the one-off stuff, and Josh, tell me if I'm wrong, and I may be, but right now the one-off stuff, the stuff that I buy to sale, and I'm like, oh man, this is something I've never sold before. I'm still doing it old school way, that way, because I got to get it through and process. I'm not waiting for 70, purple ab rollers or whatever. I'm not doing that. So I've taken, for me right now, I'm building bins for categories, because I think that optimizes it even more. And so I'm in a holding pattern where I don't want to continue to use it for the next maybe 10 days or so until I get things set. So go ahead.
Yeah. And exactly. So to build on Kevin's point, he listed 40 hats, 41 hats, I think, in the time it took to sit down and have some coffee, but that could have been 400 hats or 4,000 hats, and it would have been the same speed. So, and that's really the beauty of it. So once you build your template, you're set for life. So Kevin can go out and buy hats. You can go to garage sale, buy every hat, and it may not have been worth it before. Maybe a $12 hat wasn't worth it before. Like if it sells for $12 and you buy it for 50 cents, the fact that he can list it in a fraction of a second, basically, it makes it worth it now. So that's really where the program can really help your store grow. And the flip side of that is that it also optimizes the listing. So the AI is interacting with buy-side AIs when it's determining the title structure. And that is really important too. So you're always going to have a higher sell-through rate when you're using the AI than when you're listing it yourself. So that's a big adjustment for people too. And if I can just kind of expand on that, you ever go fishing and you see someone backing in their boat into the launch, and you see they're like jackknifing and they're all over the place and their head is out the window? They don't trust their mirrors. That's the problem with that backing up scenario, is they don't trust their mirrors. So they're looking out the side window and it messes up the trailer in the way that they're backing the thing up. It's the same thing with the AI. You have to trust the fact that the AI is optimizing your listings. So people will have.
It was hard for me with the hats. There was hardly.
Well, that's it, right? Because someone might say, I put snapback in my hat. It's a snapback hat. I put snapback, but the buyers may be looking for adjustable hat in that hat and specifically, and that's what converts better. So then in that case, the AI is going to put adjustable in instead of snapback, whereas another hat might sell better as snapback. So it's always optimizing to see what converts the best. But for some people, they have very rigid ways in which they list and put their titles.
Taking the picture of that hat and it's searching eBay and it's deciding if it should be snapback or adjustable.
It's searching the entire internet through 3 or 4 different AI search engines. Mm-hmm. So it's using training models as well.
It's looking at the buy side. What is the buyer saying?
So
and that's going to become more important as the years go by too.
Exactly. And this is a whole other topic, but this is definitely where it's going. And it's super important because this will catch up on buy side too, buy side AI. And this was an interesting point that somebody brought up at the conference is eventually there's going to be no point in advertising because the buy side AIs are going to be optimized to the sell side AIs, and they're just going to find each other. And you don't even really need advertising because it's like a perfect conduit that happens in a fraction of a second. Yeah. So,
hey, can you get into more, Joe? Did you have a question? Because I want to.
I was just going to say, is it geared more toward, like I sell part time, so is it geared more towards someone that finds more bulk?
I think it's more volume from what I've understood from all.
Because I never have 41 hats at one time. Like I never, like, you know what I mean? I'll buy a hat.
It's more volume or more niche. Like, well, I think those are gonna be the ones that rocket it first.
Yeah, I mean, those are the people who are going to definitely benefit the most. But like Kevin said, if you buy 10 hats a week or 5 hats a week, that template is set up now. Mm-hmm. So you can just run it through the template and it's done. It takes literally seconds. It's really no big deal. If you're just kind of, we'll call it a hobby reseller, where you take a little bit here, you take a little bit there, it might not be worth it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you're doing things one at a time and you're kind of not, you might as well just use eBay's AI, because at that point, it's not really saving you all that much time and it's not really worth it. It's really for people who want to grow their business and they want to do it in less time and make more money. And I'm telling you, if the thing didn't work, if List Easier didn't work, there are hundreds or even thousands of people that are waiting to hold my feet to the fire on YouTube. And you've seen it with some of the other programs. They'd rip me apart, but no one's saying anything because it works.
Well, I would say nobody's saying anything. The people that jumped in without understanding things, like I've got a little kickback from the business policy thing, right? Even though I mentioned it, I only mentioned it once, and people don't watch everything, and so I sound redundant on my videos. It's because I don't want people to jump in and spend a dime unless it is right for them, and so there are a few little things like that.
How much does it cost?
Yeah, so I'll get to the cost, but you're right, Kevin. There are little things like that for sure, where people are like, "Why do I have to set up a business policy?" Or I don't. You just go to the front screen and you're like, "Nope, don't feel like learning this. I'm not dealing with that. It's too complicated." Right? Like, nope, not doing that. So there's definitely that as well, and you get pushback from that. but we're doing our best to kind of guide people through it and be like, hey, it's really not that hard. It's not that difficult. You do it 1 or 2 times and you'll love it. Trust us.
But that kind of shipping's better anyways. Been saying it.
Well, I mean, you're looking at, I'll say this, Dan, before we get into that question that you had asked.
And pictures. I want to talk about pictures, but go ahead.
This podcast is more than just food reviews and dick and fart jokes.
Wait, what?
But Dan will specialize in, Dan enjoys going to the bins and getting clothing. Joe, he'll basically box you out of any media if you're at a garage sale with him.
It's good at it.
And like those kind of sellers. Myself, I just buy more stuff than I sell.
Did you list anything last week, Mike?
What's that, Dan?
Did you list anything?
Yes, Dan. I've been listing 10 a day.
Did you hit the goal?
Yes. Yes, I hit
36:47.
This isn't about me because I don't want to be the guy that's struggling to do something. I want to be the guy that has a box of hats, like he said, and say like there's one time that I have 40, but then I don't care if it's 4 or 400 that I buy in the future. I'm excited at an opportunity of saving time more than you cannot replace time. Especially with my wife. Like, she'll drag my ass out of the house.
You can
go to the
replace
beach
time. You
and
just lay them
drop
cigarettes down. Lay them cigarettes down. You can buy back some time for sure. We love you.
No, that's what I need the time for.
Can I say one thing here real quick? And then I want to, Joe, this is kind of along your lines of questions, right? Because, think about it this way, because I don't know when we get to the cost and we get to whatever that it's necessarily right for everybody. But Joe does a lot of media, for instance. And if you got to the point where the cost made sense for you regardless of ramping your business up or not, I think it could still be a good decision where, Joe, I know you don't love listing. You've heard it before, right? It's not your favorite thing. No. So when you buy those things, literally think about stacking them, 100 high, 200 high, and waiting a little while, and then having them all listed on there. That's the kind of thing that it's like, think of all the time you've saved not doing the one-offs and stuff. And it's changed the way just like live selling has changed the way I buy. And it will probably continue to. This is already changing. I bought DVDs, Joe. I bought a boatload of DVDs this last week. And I normally don't bother with it. But it was the combination of the idea of List Easier and the live selling. I saw a Dogma Blu-ray in this stack. And I bought the whole thing because I knew the Dogma would pay for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Everything plus more, right? And I'm going to sell these off. It'll be gone by the time this video is out. I'm going to sell 2 stacks of those over there. Just a bunch of Disney DVD, but, not high dollar stuff. That's all profit at this point. It's gone like that. And then I got this other stack that I'm saving, and I'll list on List Easier. And then I got the Dogma. I'm going to get it up right now and sell it. So it's really changing the way you think, where you're thinking in the old school of, I'm only going to pick up something that's worth my time. That changes, and maybe that tier goes down a little bit that's worth your time at this point. But that's just a thought that I had, and I do want to talk about pictures, but I don't want to filibuster here.
Yeah, I would say, and you'd be surprised how productive you can be with the software. So, it's just really all you got to do now is take pictures and put a price in, and it's just remarkably fast. So, for example, Joe, if you're selling media, you could do a cassette tapes one, a VHS tapes template, a records template, and everything else. And just basically, whenever you buy media, you run it through the template. All you have to do is take pictures. That's it. It takes all the crappy part away. We talk about costs. So with Kevin's code, the first month is $40 for, I think it's $39.99, Kevin, for 1,000 listings for the first month. So that's pretty much at cost. And that's what we charge. We charge between 3 and 7 cents per listing. But that is, of course, through a monthly subscription. And I would recommend that everyone.
Available.
Sorry?
Yeah, you were going over, you did the breakdown, but you have multiple tiers. Correct?
Yeah, the first tier is $69 for 1,000 listings. I forget what the second tier is. I think it's $189 for 3,000 listings, and then it's $299 for 10,000 listings. So, and that, well, you'd be surprised. There are, we sign a lot at the higher tiers, and they are starting second accounts to even put more in.
I'm not surprised at the cost. I don't bat an eye at the cost of that because of the way that it's going to pay. Like I'm 100% on board with the fact that this is going to change people's business tenfold.
Yeah.
Easily optimizing people's business. And I hate change. Like I wear the same underwear all week if it was possible.
If you
That's how much I hate change.
Let me jump in here, and I will continue to advocate for this. But in my mind, I was not going to talk about this, use it, do whatever until there was a lower tier. And I changed my mind. I still think there should be a lower tier. I still will fight for it, and I think that it would you have a ton more business, but it's their business, not just Josh's got partners. It's their business. They can make that decision, and I hope there is a lower tier because Dan, I'm already thinking is like 10,000 or 1,000 listings a month, right? I mean, that's what you're thinking. I don't blame you. But I will say that I'm thinking in my mind, I list 500 things, 600 things. That's like top of my line for what I list in a month. Sometimes it's far less. So I'm like, why would I ever do this? But now I'm thinking, I just use 41 listings up and it's a third of my hats, right? So I was like, okay, I kind of get it, but I still think there's a place in there for that lower tier for people to grow into that and get that in their mindset. It relieves the hurdle. But like you said, that's their business.
So let me address that. I would say the major hurdle is not that, we don't want to offer a lower tier. It's just maintaining the customer support.
Yep,
so currently on average, each customer requires about an hour or two of customer support. Some don't require any, and some require even more. We have questions like they, are even having troubles using their own computer or logging onto eBay, or they don't know their eBay password. And, you can imagine all these different things that you get. So all that customer support, because we want people to use it and benefit from it. So we take the time to go through it with them. That will increase tenfold as we go down the tiers. So we do want to make it available, but we don't want anyone to have a bad time or get ourselves overwhelmed or in a situation where we can't handle everything that's coming in. So we're trying to do it responsibly.
Right.
And
I just got to give you props for that, because that's not the tack that I've seen out there from folks, and that's what I've tried to do. And you can't. It's the same thing with our Dibdit marketplace as we try to grow it. It's you don't oversell anything. I've never heard Josh really oversell anything.
Scoot in closer,
at
Kevin.
This point.
Yeah.
Well, that's not necessarily my fault, but I'll scoot closer. So I've never heard him oversell anything, and this honestly. This video doesn't even need to be done what we're doing right now. Other than clarity's sake, I honestly believe this thing is going to sell itself, because I'm hooked. Jess is excited. She's a daggone employee. She's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a Ferrari. Yeah, I mean, and again, even me, I've never promoted anything. I've never taken any promotions or anything. And when we were first developing the software, I was like, oh my God. Like my first thought was, what's eBay going to say about this? People are going to be putting up like 10,000 books, in a day, or 5,000
room with that, by the way, which we need.
So I thought about that. You said a key word right there. You said people are going to be putting up books. And when I think of that, I think of the two different sellers that you have, and you have some that deal a lot with Amazon. It doesn't translate to Amazon at the moment. Is there plans for that, or are we strictly eBay?
Yeah, there's a big roadmap, and it's exciting. So we do have integrations coming with Amazon, with Walmart, Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, everything. Cross-listing will become available. The mobile app will become available in UK and Australia, Shopify integrations, and then, of course, advancements within the app itself, like direct integrations to your camera, and then, of course, keeping up to date with the AIs themselves, which are moving very quickly. So, 1 week you have ChatGPT 4, then you have ChatGPT 5, you have Google Vision. We have to keep up with all this and the different APIs on their end that keep changing, and the developer APIs that are changing on their end as well.
Yeah, I think of our friends.
Nobody's going to compete with it. Just the price, the cost of this stuff, and it's going to be hard for a lot of people unless they're huge players with big money to compete and to offer such a low price. What did you going to say, Mike?
No, I was going to say, like, if you look at some of our friends, like Alex, Beard King Picker, he does strictly books. And I'm just like, I would just end it if I had to. Like, I want nothing to do with books. But
Alex uses List Easier.
He does. And I talk to him all the time, and he's absolutely in love with it.
Okay. Yeah. and you had already said the implementation of it, like overseas. Like you think of somebody like Mel back from Burnout. Like, my goodness, like there's so many times that she's had to reevaluate her processes, and this would eliminate reevaluation and streamline it. And I think about all those kind of people that do books, because I think that's something that's super frustrating for everybody. So,
right. So stop me if I'm getting too technical, but these types of software have existed for larger businesses for a long period of time. So not necessarily the AIs, but they've had internal databases. Think of like ISBNs or UPCs, where they can call up all this information and list things super quickly. This is really the chance for small businesses to level up, because now someone at their desk for 2 hours can do the same thing that cost a big business millions of dollars to develop, to create databases, to run everything else. That now becomes available to every single person who just has a little bit of room and some ambition and some good work ethic. So that's really the game changer here with this. And I got to say too, I know a lot of people get sick of hearing about AI all the time, but it is just such a big deal. And that's why everyone's talking about it. People are making money and they're building businesses really quick, and they can't keep their mouths closed about it, for lack of a better word. So that's why this is at the forefront right now. And it's why, that's what eBay talked about at the conference. It's what businesses are talking about. It's just out there because it's new and it's really working.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Mel, I had her on my list too. It made me think that's probably what they call eBay Open in Australia, a corporate do about. I think that's probably what they call it.
Yeah.
Hey, elephant in the room. I still haven't got to pictures because Dan asked that, and I have some questions too in my early processes with pictures and the amount and the strategies to get things on there. That's a little bit more detailed for people who are already using it, but now I forgot what the heck I was going to say. Oh, the elephant in the room. What do you say to the people whose argument is, and I've heard you answer this before, this is a kind of rhetorical question, isn't this going to flood the market and drop the price of everything because the availability is so high?
Yeah, so there are a few things here. You're still limited by what eBay lets you list. So you're going to reach your limits on eBay, have to start a new account and whatever else. Also, you see large businesses with millions and millions and millions of items. So I think in that case too, maybe in 5 years time it's going to have an effect, but this is kind of your chance to really level up and build your business. I'm not sure, honestly, long term it may, to be fully honest, but in the short term, it's a very small group of people that are taking advantage of this. Here, we're going to have maybe 500 or 1,000 people watch this podcast. Of that, maybe a handful will sign up. They're going to have a strategic advantage over everyone else. When everyone's using the software, then it's a different story.
Well, can I piggyback on that for just a second? And I'll try to shut up the rest of the show, but as you can tell, I'm excited. I liken it to this, and I've said this for over a year now, just looking to see how things are coming down the pike. I've said to people through rough times on it, for those who stay in this game through rough patches, through whatever, and constantly make those little adjustments and keep going this direction, it will pay off for you. And I think there'll be a smaller, this is bad for my social media, a smaller amount of resellers who are making far more money out of live selling, for instance. You guys see what Paul's done? And Paul has become a middleman for these people, and he's attracting items now. If you've seen what he's doing on Whatnot, he's attracting buyouts. He's attracting. And that's going to be the same thing on eBay. Is this a bad connection? Y'all are shaking your heads at me. I think that the eBay sellers who are successful and can show those, they will attract product as well. And in different ways than, say, live selling. But it's an opportunity not just for the now, but to also alleviate more time for you to strategize about sourcing. I think that is going to be a big component of it.
Yeah, and you got to remember too, I mean, as your listing optimized listings, your sell-through rate goes up. You'll be getting more traffic from eBay because they see you converting more, and it's this like cycle that over time gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So, again, it is a window, and I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm up here like selling, like you got to get this, but it really is an opportunity to level up, because in 3 years' time, I truly do believe everyone's going to be using this software. And I think one thing I wanted to get into that we didn't talk about, which is why is eBay's AI so far behind? I don't know if people have ever tried eBay's AI, but they're relying on internal databases, and those internal databases are corrupt. That's all the listings that the people have been doing, and they fill in NA for everything, or they copy someone else's listing that's wrong, or it's in the wrong category. So eBay's AI has to pull from that database, whereas you take something like List Easier and it's pulling from all human information from all human time that's available via the internet. So I think that's a big difference, where eBay doesn't rely externally.
Just look at an AI description on eBay versus an AI on List Perfectly, and I was sold immediately. It's not perfect, but I mean, you've seen the descriptions that AI comes with up on eBay. It's like, good Lord Almighty, right? So that was a
So that's a bad prompt. So they prompt the description to sell the item, like try and sell this item. So the AI doesn't, like, that's a really bad prompt, because you just want to give information. You don't want a soapbox salesman saying the greatest bread maker ever. All your dreams will come true if you use this bread maker. And you're like, come on, man, this is.
I've heard Dan talk about that before.
Yeah, that's why you don't use I've been skeptical, so that List Easier doesn't do that. And then I've used the bulk edit lister on eBay, and it like leaves a bunch of information that you have to go back and fill in. And then like I just was curious, so going with the AI description on eBay, but this one, like, what's the quality control on when you list like those 40 hats, Kevin? Did you have to, like, if you want to do a call out, or a sweatband was messed up and you want to make sure you describe that, like you have to go, like does AI do that, or you have to go and then you have to go do that yourself?
Yeah, well, I'll let Josh answer part of it. I'll just tell you in my process, and this batch was pretty darn good. Almost everything was all used or very close, so I didn't have many issues to have to really dig into some of that stuff. But I will tell you that I can't even remember his name real quick. Anyway, I'll get back to it in a minute. But
Mike, it's Mike.
No, somebody else entirely. Any rate, I checked that title. And I did adjust, and maybe I'm wrong for doing it. I did adjust 2 or 3 titles because there's some things I know people look for, but maybe I'm wrong at the same time, right?
That's what messes you up. It messes you up. Yeah, I know. I've been there.
Yeah, and I did. But I didn't change very many.
You might be making it smarter, though, right? You could be
listen,
it, right?
Here's the funny part, is I've sold, out of those 41, I've sold, I don't know, five things already or something like that. And we just did this the other day. And one of those was one I changed, and the rest of them weren't. And I didn't change many, so I don't know. But once I look at the title, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. I'm not going to nitpick the title. I'm just not going to do it. It wasn't how I do a title. But am I going to assume that I'm the right one doing the title? But there were a few things I'm like, but once I saw that title was right, I go and I look at all the other stuff, and it is, I mean, I might have changed one thing out of thousands. It just was right. And I did it on something fairly simple. I'm thinking maybe golf clubs or something. You may have some issues. There may not, can it read what kind of shaft it is if it doesn't say it on the pic? There's all kinds of things that I don't have the answers to. Josh may have some of them. I don't really know. But looking at the descriptions, I'm like, yeah, good enough. This looks really good. This is going to enhance this listing, especially, if the growth of the back end buyer AI stuff is feeding in, I think that's going to be helpful. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I'm thinking in my mind. Josh can confirm that
so
or
this
not.
and this is stuff that nobody else is doing. So again, it does mess with you because you have to remember the titles are based on what converts best and what the buyer is looking for. So we got that from postcard sellers. We have some big postcard sellers on the site, and they want to have stuff in there like RPCC, real photo postcard, or RPPC, and whether or not it's posted and whether the edges are scalloped or whatever else, because that's important to them, but because they're collectors. But the fact of the matter is that's not what converts. Those are all keywords that don't convert. Someone who went on vacation to Naples, Florida is going to put in Naples, Florida postcard. So the AI is optimizing for those kind of conversions, even though that might be not what the seller prefers. So, and then going down, Dan, to answer your question about description. So the AI is building a description based on what the average person will read. So that way it's not too long, it's not too short. So wherever the average person usually reads, that's the amount of description. It's looking to be SEO optimized. So this is keyword rich, so that it optimizes properly in Google, and that it also optimizes properly inside eBay itself for the search results, because they do rely on keywords within the description. And it's really just factual and informational. Now, it does pick up flaws. So the prompts do pick up flaws. So if you put a hat and it's stained, it's going to say there's a stain on the hat. Or if you put on shoes, it's in the description, it's going to say the shoes appear worn at the toe. So it is prompted to look for flaws and notify the buyer of those flaws in your description. Because the last thing you want is this thing overselling something, and all our buyers or all our users are getting returns because we're saying it's a brand spanking new pair of shoes when it's actually, a pair of Doc Martens from 1987 that have a little bit of scuffing on the toe.
I think I think it's you develop a trust in it and over time, and I'm in the early stages of it. But that was big. My biggest time consumer in this whole process was choosing the price. And you do have that little button on there that shows solds, but it uses the whole title. So it gives you a lot of information that's like, okay, the more experienced reseller is going to know how to price that. Like if you ever talk to Chernock's Connection, he just picks his price. He knows hats so well. He just knows what his price is going to be beforehand, which I'm not at that level. Most people aren't at that level. But so I did have my phone out there, and there was probably, half a dozen or so that most of them I just clicked on the recent solds, and it was the exact same hat, and I saw enough of them. I could see condition, and I just chose the price because, $1 whatever. I don't care.
Well,
there were a few rare hats that I had to go and find a price on with my phone. It took a little longer. So that was the only time. That's why it took me the cup of coffee. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and with the hats, I mean, this is what you're seeing with people is they're like, I don't really care anymore because tomorrow I'm going to list 40 more. They're all $12.99 except for this Shark's Tooth one and except for this CC Filson one. I know those are worth more. I'm going to put those ones up, but another $1 or $2, I'm not going to waste my time with it. I'm going to take the dogs for a walk or whatever. So right. You're seeing that as well. Like, what does another $1 matter? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't really matter. So
I did find a $150 hat in there that I had no idea because there was no comp for it, right? So you click that button and you can't even find the comp. I'm like, well, I gotta find this hat. So
yeah.
Sorry, I was grinning earlier in the middle of your explanation when you were talking about how it optimizes the title for the most applicable toward like other soul comps and everything. But and even shortens it, and I just imagine Tim over there shitting his pants at that moment. He's like, "Not 80 characters." Like, what?
Well, and that this is a good point.
It's been ingrained into us.
Yeah, there's
utilize it when we never thought about it. Like, hey, what are other people saying? And sometimes less is more.
Yeah, and well, I mean, there are people, that'll say you have to have this keyword or you have to have that keyword, but at the end of the day, it might not be what the buyer is looking for. The more you use a program like List Easier, the more you learn to trust it. You're like, as Kevin said, you start trusting your mirrors. You know that it's right, even if it isn't necessarily what you would do. It's correct because that's what the buyer looks for. So I sell a lot of antique photographs. It always wants to put black and white photograph at the start, or black and white, photograph of, I don't know, Naples, Florida again. I don't like that. I think black and white is a waste. But then when you look at what the buyers search for, they're searching for black and white Naples photo, and it's converting quicker. So I've also learned to trust my mirrors with the AI, and I'm like, it just knows better than I do, and it's all converting. So we're going to let it run.
So basically you're saying that there's a lot of dumb people out there who don't know how to search your items correctly. That's basically what you're saying.
Well, yeah, well, and this is true. I mean, we feel like we are optimizing because we have all these keywords in there and all this stuff that we are like, all these things that we know about an item, like a blouse is a snap up and it's this and it's that and all these other things. But someone who's just looking for a white blouse for work might just put in white blouse work and then all the other stuff afterwards. So I'm just saying, like, I don't know because the AI will deal with it, but that's kind of an example where the AI knows what converts. It knows.
All right.
I guess it goes along the same point what Kevin does. With 2 separate thumbnails, you put it up there and you just trust the process. And for those of y'all that aren't creators, like even I don't have the option, but these creators that have, actual viewers, unlike me, they can put in 2 different thumbnails and it will optimize which one performs best. And I think in putting it in relation, that's exactly what List Easier is able to do. It's just find out what one's going to perform best. That way,
at the end of the day, you're going to list more items in less time and make more money. It's just across the board. That's what's happening. And Kevin, you got to keep me on the rails because I'll geek out over this stuff. I can go really deep into the technical stuff.
I got a question I got to get answered. So I still am a little confused with the picture thing. And I got to admit, Jess has really helped me in this part. And I'm a little confused. So talk about the pictures and the amount of pictures. It'll analyze this much, but the speed of doing this, if all the pictures are the same number, for instance, and you have different options. Can you just explain the best process for you for taking the pictures to begin with, right, and putting them in? Can you explain?
So first of all, broadly, if you upload 20 pictures, we analyze each and every picture. So the more you put up, it doesn't really matter. Put up 20 pictures, we're going to analyze them all. Other software out there, all of the same item. It doesn't, like, whatever you decide, unlike other software out there, they'll only take the first or second picture. And the reason why is it saves them money because it's less data transfer. And that's really the expensive part of this, is sending data back and forth to the AIs. We put them all up. Now, you can do it 2 ways, as Kevin alluded to. You can either...
more accurate, by the way. And it's why
it's more accurate.
The fault flaws, Dan.
Exactly.
Why I can say the toe's worn on this, because you're analyzing whatever data you put up. Now, if you're doing a DVD, Joe, you ain't putting 20 pictures, no DVD up there.
No.
Right.
How about if you're listing clothes, will it pick up, how when I list clothes, I'll lay, a yardstick across the measure. It will pick up that measurement of what it is. And
yeah, it will pick up the measurement, and it will also pick up any information off the tag. So whatever information you give it, it's considering that a prompt, and then it's including it. So the only time you'd get a little bit messed up is if the tag is saying like 36 by 36 and your ruler is saying 35.
Right. Okay.
So now you're forcing the AI to choose one or the other. It's probably going to choose the tag because that's like within the garment itself. So as far as the photos, to get back to that quickly, you can either start, let's say you have an uneven number of photos. Kevin's like, he does 40 hats. Some have 5 pictures, some have 4, some have 3, some have 10. You can click start and start and start end on the photos. So you don't have to have an even number of photos. But if you really want to make it fast, you take the same number of photos per item, and then you can auto assign it. So you click the auto assign button. You say, I've got 5 pictures of every single hat, and I just did 500 of them. Auto assign every 5 pictures. And then it'll create the listings for you. It knows where to start and where to end.
What if you have, say, 7 pictures of one hat, 8 of one, 5 of one? Can you still click 5 on there and just have them analyze that, and you waste the other pictures that you took?
No.
Or does that picture still appear?
I think it would pull by the file number or something, wouldn't it? Like sequence.
In that case, what you're prompting the AI, and you're telling the AI, look, I have 5 pictures of each hat. So if you actually have 8, it'll start the 5 of the new one, and it's going to catch some of the old ones in there.
I got it. That's what I figured. I just wanted some clarity. So when I'm taking pictures of whatever I'm doing, I really need to take the exact amount of pictures for each one and not screw it up.
It would make it faster, but even if you do screw it up, you can edit it and just delete a photo. If you're like, oh, this one has 6 and every other one has 5.
Didn't it screw up the AI and pulling in the information?
No. So the AI part of it happens in the next step. So you can delete a photo. That way you have an equal 5 all the way across if you screwed it up accidentally. So, or you can crop or whatever the case may be. But yeah, if you have 5 of every single one and there's a 6 in there somewhere, just delete the 6 picture and you can auto assign the 5.
And you're able to see that in the, I can't even remember when we did the thing. So
yeah, so when the auto assign, this is going to get a little bit nerded out again, but it's an algorithm itself. So it's analyzing the number of pictures that you have and it's making it divisible by a certain number. And those are the option it gives you. So you may want to auto assign, but you accidentally put another picture in there. So you have 31, let's say, photos in there. It really needs 30. So you'll already see when you want to auto assign that the numbers aren't correct.
Okay.
So once you find that error, you can delete it, and then you can auto assign the 6 or the 5 or whatever.
What are you finding is the best, like when you're doing your listings with what you do, and you have a lot of one-offs and stuff. So like you don't with the photos and stuff like that, but what are you doing? Are you doing a certain set amount when you're doing yours, or how are you doing it?
Yeah, so we actually built multiple accounts. We probably beta tested the software, like I would say at least 250,000 listings across, I think, 7 accounts. So we have 7 accounts out there filled, operating. And over that time, I learned to trust the AI. So for me, it's a front and back photo, really high-end stuff. I take 4. I use a stationary camera that it's called an overhead document scanner. It takes a photo. I set it to a timer every second. I slide my thing in there. I switch it, slide it, and it just takes pictures. And this allows me to do about 250 items a day listed, on top of course, the AI business and YouTube and shipping and everything else. But that's my process.
Now, because so many of us people utilize our phone. Like I've always done it where I'll use my phone. I'll go to photo room. I'll do the background editor. Now, granted, eBay now has that. I could probably get rid of photo room and save some money.
No,
but eBay has the background removal.
Yes, eBay but you can't remove the background on the photo once it's in. Right. All right, I'll let Josh talk about it.
No, I'm talking about my process, Kevin.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes,
so
yes, I got you.
The whiting out is not an option that's available on List Easier yet, but
I understand that.
It's in the roadmap.
Because I am a lover of district. I absolutely love it. And you ask anybody, and I will say it. I hate the fact that they have eliminated Android and the fact that you don't have anything. It's my biggest criticism of them, because you're eliminating over 40% of the buyer market, or you're making it less accessible. I won't say eliminating. They still go on their phone. They still go on their computer. When is an app coming?
Yeah. So this is a really good question. So we are supporting the picture files that come from phones. For example, the Hayek picture files from iPhone are supported in List Easier. You just got to get them from the cloud over to the PC. Getting the mobile app is in itself not all that difficult, as long as we've solved all the API challenges on the site itself. So we're still adding categories. I'm telling you guys, there are categories that require weeks of prompts, like African mugs or something. You would think that it wouldn't, but it's a very complicated problem set. So once the problem sets are all solved, it's easy to transfer it over to mobile. The worst thing we could do is have the site 3/4 of the way with categories, whatever the case may be, build a mobile app, and now we have to import categories because of the changes that are being made over to mobile. So really the top focus right now is to build out the site so it's 100% with categories and accuracy the way we want it, which, I mean, every category that's launched is 99.7% accurate. Roll it out to the UK and Australia, and then convert it over to the app, which it does not take a long time. But really, it's getting everything else as far as the programming and the prompting is concerned optimized.
Is that Android too?
Yeah, and Android and Apple. The Apple might take a little bit longer because there are certain requirements to get things into the Apple store, but I think the Android would be.
We don't care about Apple.
That's over 60% of the users, Mike.
That's right, Dan. You tell them, Dan.
No, it'd be less than, because it's over 40 for Android. And guess what? Worldwide, Android.
Take a category like Mike here and action figures. Like how much dividing would he have to do to make it optimized as far as batching together?
This is one of the questions that I'd had in my mind. I didn't even write it down, and Kevin's right. In taking me into consideration, because you say you categorize it, but we're talking G.I. Joe, Motu, Thundercats. What are the breakdowns, or can I just go action figure and it will auto populate to a further extent?
Yeah. You can put it in the action figures category and it will auto populate the rest, whether it's Thundercats or Rocket Robin Hood or whoever it is.
You're selling Mike right here, boy. Let me tell you.
It's interesting because we had a recent case. I don't know if you know Corey from Grams and Pops Vintage, but he bought like 1,000 Star Wars figures, and there's all sorts of stuff mixed in there. And he's been listing those through List Easier, and I mean it is remarkably accurate. But again, with action figures, the more information you can give it, the better. So if there's a foot stamp on the action figure, and you can get a close up of that 1998 or 1987 or whatever. You're giving it more information and it will be even more accurate.
Yeah. Take your pictures like you're feeding the thing.
Yeah. So if you do one, do them all.
I did shoes,
like you
Dan.
said, with the quantity wise.
Dan, you know that little tag inside his shoes got the barcode on it? That little thing is gold to this thing. I mean, because I hate shoes. So that's why I wanted to try this with shoes, because the last thing I want to do is sit down and list a shoe.
Shoes are like the best.
Oh, gosh. Anyway.
Yeah.
And so, you get that thing, you make sure that picture's good in there. That thing is like gold. I mean, it takes all that stuff off of there and uses it, man. And it had every shoe right. Like, I double-checked them. I just did 3. I double-checked them all. I'm like, dang on, man, I can't find this crap. Because when I type in those things, I hate that.
Yeah, a lot of times they don't work.
Yeah.
Like they used to work all the time. Now, a lot of times they don't work anymore.
Well, it worked on these. Maybe it doesn't work if they're fake.
No, I meant just like, because I use like Google or, I use eBay to look it up. And then if I look like Crocs, if you look up the Crocs on eBay and I type in the code, a lot of times it'll just come up the regular classic Crocs. But
so
I'm looking at
again, if I'm nerding out, guys, stop me. But if you're using Google Lens, you can only give it one picture. So the AI doesn't have enough context. So the more pictures that you feed it in List Easier, the better it's going to do. But once it has context of what this is and what it looks like, it can pull information like the MPN. It becomes more confident. So it might have model information that you wouldn't know. Like it's telling you shoes from 1987. It's a high top. It's a 1 of 3 or whatever. So all this information can get pulled as long as you give it multiple pictures. And again, that's the benefit with List Easier of using multiple AIs, whereas Google is relying on their own search, one picture, and that's it. List Easier can go across a spectrum of AIs and reach out and find the best information.
Oh, my goodness. Like I had one of Kevin's blue chews. This thing is exciting. It excites me.
I don't even really know what a blue chew is, Mike, but I see
one of your wiener pills, dude.
Oh my god!
Well, I'm glad I don't know what a blue chew. I don't need that. No wonder I don't know.
Oh man, this is great.
We're all gonna get canceled. End of Commonwealth Flipper. It's on the way.
We warned you in the beginning.
No, there's a warning. It's cool.
Dan, I'm holding you personally responsible if 2 minutes and 4 seconds to 2 minutes and 23 seconds remain in this video.
I don't know how to get it out. And we have audio. I have no idea how to do that either. It has to stay in.
Oh, man. I've never been in a place where I want to push something so bad, and I'm being very patient, but it's a product that I'm...
Well, after Supply Hut, we understand.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, as long as they don't measure this app, or measure this.
I got a quick question about Supply Hut.
Oh God!
Like, what? No, it's not directed to you. It's directed directly to Supply Hut because it's obvious.
You think they're listening to this podcast?
Huh?
You think supply list is nuts?
No.
Well, I don't know, but somebody can relay to this to them, because shout out to them. They obviously hire what is it? Special needs kids.
Here we go.
Because I don't know why they direct them to be the one to glue the one side of the box, but that thing is always like a quarter inch off, and I've got to squish it down to tape.
We've been on track for an hour.
This was too much. This was too much for Mike to handle.
Ruined it.
Ugh,
we almost made it.
So
are we naming the shed, Kevin?
No. The
not yet.
list. I tell you what, it's a good fit though.
It was
I
the
don't know how much money
in.
Josh has though. But the list easier shed. That's what I'm doing out there. I'm doing that. I'm building that shed to look like, not building, but I'm adapting that shed to fit this model. I don't like to change anything, y'all. I don't want to change anything. But this is
what are you talking about? You
me.
bought 3 trailers last year or something.
How about 2 trailers?
Yeah,
2 trailers.
Whatever.
To be parted out, Mr. Parted Out.
Hey, so we have something in the military. I don't want to keep y'all too long, but we've really hit on every topic, and I want to give you a chance to close it out. But we did something in the military at the end of any training exercises after action review. What, Dan?
I thought that's what you did in the military.
Shut up. We pointed out 3 sustains and 3 improves. So,
oh my God.
Give me that for list easier. What are the 3 things that you're most pleased with, and what are the 3 things that you want to improve first?
So I'm like, for the nerd part of me, I'm really impressed by the accuracy. So you're dealing with the entire internet and AI, and to have it as accurate as it is it's phenomenal. It really is, it's insane. What the devs have built on this. I am impressed with the optimization. So the sale optimization, and of course the speed. It's very fast to use. So where are there improvements? Certainly there are improvements required in integrations, such, an app would be nice. People want mobile, cross-listing capabilities, like a photo room capability. So those, we can bunch all those into the 3 things that, we're really looking to do. And that I wish they were here right now, but they're all complicated. And then of course, like a phone integration as well, where you can just take a picture through the app from List Easier, and then that will auto populate into a listing for you. Stuff like that is really where we want to go.
Can I chime in with a couple of things that I'm thinking here? And one of them may be complete pie in the sky, Josh, and you know better than me, but this one's pretty simple. Am I understanding correctly that once the photo is in eBay, you cannot change that photo? Like, yeah, go ahead.
You want me to geek out over this one? This is going to be another thing. So as far as image hosting is concerned, image hosting is done through a third party on eBay until the listing goes live. And then it's filed into eBay's EFS system, which is their eBay filing system or electronic filing system. So we can't use their third party to host images, so we have to host them ourselves. Now, this is across the board. Any AI lister, this is a requirement that you have to host the photos yourself. So we host the photos ourselves, and then we send it directly to eBay's filing system, the EFS system. But because it doesn't go through that intermediary, it doesn't allow those photos to be edited. Now,
or you can't add to them either. Am I correct?
You can't add to them either, because then you're trying to directly host off of eBay in the third party, but you've already hosted off someone else. The workaround right now is just end the listing, restart it, and then it automatically, those pictures are put through the tertiary.
So you can do that. That was another question. I didn't know. I didn't want to, screw it up. So
so if you're
you can end a listing and then restart it, and then if you had to, I'm just thinking, you get a question. Hey, could you send me a picture of this? This wasn't included or something, and I can't really do that. But you're saying I could if I end the listing and do it. Okay, so that's great to know. Let's
say you send all your hats live, and you're like, oh my gosh, the one is upside down. Mm-hmm. So you can't do anything with it because of what we just talked about. But if you end the listing and then restart it, now it goes through eBay's tertiary third-party hoster, and it goes straight to the EFS. And now you can do whatever you have to do with it, because every change has to follow the same pathway. If you turn that photo upside down, it gets hosted by the third party, and then it goes to eBay's filing system. So that's why that's like that. And that's why all the AI listers have to kind of abide by that.
And my second nitpicky thing, it's really not even nitpicky. This may be pie in the sky. So since all this is drawing from everywhere, or not everywhere on the internet, but is drawing from places on the internet, is there a day in the future where you see that they're pulling in all this data from old stuff from all over the place where pricing could be suggested on an item?
It's another really good one, Kevin. So you nailed two big ones there. These of course are bees in the bonnet, the EFS, which, that's a big one, but also pricing. So there is only one company that I know of that has access to eBay's solds data, and that's WorthPoint. And WorthPoint is under contract not to disclose that information to anyone. We could technically scrape eBay for their pricing data, but we have agreed through eBay's audit. So eBay audits us that we are never going to do that. Okay. So this kind of takes pricing off the board.
Which means nobody's probably going to do that.
Which means either they're not abiding by it and their service is going to get shut down. I'll tell you what some of the other ones are doing. They're asking Grok or ChatGPT, hey, what's the price of this?
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that
is not accurate all the time.
It's not going to be accurate. Yeah. So we want 99.7% accurate. So what's happening is it might look at a price from 4 years ago and say this thing is $12 when it's $100 now, or vice versa. The other thing that I've seen people do is they just enter prices in an Excel sheet, and then they use keyword search to search that Excel sheet, that's not AI. That's just, you're making it up, and then you're telling, based on keywords.
I don't see how fast that much faster that is than actually.
Well, and it's inaccurate because you're just having a human enter those prices. Yeah. In the future, so this is such an amazing integration because we are able to send all this information back and forth based on what people are pricing at. We can eventually build our own price database.
I'm curious, by the way, that because eBay doesn't allow that. I understand why eBay wouldn't. I kind of get that, just simply because, what good are you doing scraping data from 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 9, whatever, when what really makes a difference and what can allow prices to rise on certain categories is the recent supply and demand of an item, and that may actually that may hurt the overall selling price over time if they allow that data out there. I'm just speculating. I'm just trying to process.
Yeah, and you have competitors like Poshmark and Walmart that may be competing with eBay, so they could scrape eBay's solds data and apply a multiplier of like 0.97 so that they're always a little bit cheaper than what eBay is, and eBay can never be competitive. So they're just like, you know what?
May hurt no one gets this data to have that available.
Exactly, and it's very valuable. So that kind of information, because it needs to be on trend and current, it's very, very valuable. And eBay has it; they won't give it out to us. So we just allow the users to price.
And that's what takes the most time, y'all. I will tell you right now. It's as fast as you can price stuff. It's as fast as you can list it. It's that fast.
And I'll say, any other AI software out there, they're either using an Excel sheet to pull price data, which is not AI, or they're just asking ChatGPT or Grok, what's the price of this? And the AI will guess. Like, well, hats generally sell for this much. It doesn't really know, but you're forcing it to come up with something. So, if we were to do something like that and our pricing was like wildly inaccurate, people would be gone. So it's better not to offer it if we can't.
I think if I were to do those hats again, Josh, I know enough about hats where I could have literally pulled, because the order that it could go in could really help me with speed. I could have pulled the ones that I know, wool, whatever, I could have pulled that stuff and put those at the end of my listings or the beginnings of my listings, where I know the other ones are going to be tons of comps out there and whatever. And so I just go on and list the first 38, and I've got the 4 at the bottom that I know I'm going to do a little research on. So a little trick, especially if you know what you're doing, would be helpful.
I'm glad you brought this up too. You're talking my language, Kevin. So this is a unique feature of List Easier, that the order in which you upload the pictures, we keep it in the order that you upload. This is a super difficult process. And you'll even see it with eBay where it puts it all out of order. But we put it in order that you uploaded it. So like you said, Kevin, if you want to put all the valuable ones at the front, so you price those 4 valuable ones, you let List Easier deal with the rest, just put them at the front of your pictures, and it'll make it even quicker for you.
And Mike, you know enough about, action figures. Joe, you know enough about DVDs. Dan, you know enough about clothes. You could do that, I think, and make it a little easier. I mean, it's crazy we're talking about making it easier when this is so stinking easy to begin with, but we never get enough, right? Nothing's ever good enough.
Right. So, and we have $1 million worth of listings leaving the site every single day. That number's growing every single day by a little bit, or, sometimes by a lot, but it's gotta be accurate. We have sellers that are selling batches of like Tiffany rings or Tiffany necklaces. Some of these things are worth thousands and thousands of dollars. So there's a lot on the line. This has to be accurate with the details and the item specifics. So that's why accuracy is so important.
I've talked enough.
I have an important question. It's for Josh. Tim Hortons or Starbucks?
Oh,
Depends on my mood.
Okay.
If I want a light one, I'll go Tim Hortons. But sometimes I'm like, I'm dying, man. I need something that's just gonna pick me up.
What?
Yeah, that was a good question. I've got look at this right here. There you go. Oh. Did you see it? Is that why you asked?
Well, no, I knew you were from Canada. So we just had a Tim Hortons open up in Jersey. So it's the first one.
Nice.
And
nice.
Whenever I pass it, the lines are crazy to get in there.
Do they take Canadian money there, Joe?
I don't know what they do. I've never made it in there. The line's too long.
Should I edit out Joe's important question also?
That's good. That's good. Just make sure I'll buy you lunch all next time I see you, but you got to put my link down there and code Commonwealth, save them $30, man.
Hey, that is a given.
Sign up today.
Like you say, you're taking that cost down to folks. Be willing to try it out, because I'm excited to do the same thing, because you're looking at something like, even if it's what
you're gonna try to sign up.
I'm sorry. You cut out while interrupting
sign up and list.
What?
You're gonna sign up and list this week.
Set up and list. He's gonna get it and list. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Mike. You should, even if you don't sign up.
You're not gonna be the death bow picker.
It's not on his list to do. It's not on his list to do. He's not going to do it. The list has to come from one person.
I guarantee he's going to start batching now, no matter if he signs up or not. I guarantee it, because he likes to organize.
There are a few important caveats that I want to put out there. I would say everyone use your 10 free listings. We offer 10 free listings to help you get familiar with the program, number one. Number two, if you want a steep discount, use Kevin's code. It gives you, I think, $30 off for the first month. And that will at least, it de-risks a little bit, so that maybe, it's not that much money compared to the $69 a month, although that's not that much either, to be honest with you. But I would also say, be cautious. It is a powerful tool once you learn how to use it. It is a Ferrari. And like a Ferrari, you slam on that gas, the car is going to spin out. There are people who want to list. As soon as they get on it, they figure it out. They want to start doing 1,000 a day. You're still connected to eBay. So if you're only listing 2 or 3 a week, and now all of a sudden you're doing 1,000 a day, you're going to raise some red flags. So I would say just be careful. If you're selling $500 a week, and then all of a sudden you're making $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 a week, you're going to put up some red flags. So just
I saw Corey today. He had like a record weekend or something. He was doing all that. So he's like, maybe
Corey, Primo Chemo, Beard started. Scott started a media store. He's like, I've been tripping over this stuff, and now it's selling, 20, 30% sell-through rate. So it works. I promise you it works, but you got to do it. And then also the one last thing I want to put in there is, we've had messages from people where they couldn't keep up with their shipping. So yeah, we're having a great time. We're putting all this stuff up, but now it's Monday at 4:40, and we still have 30 orders that we have to pack up, and USPS closes in 15 minutes. You have to recognize too, there is responsibility on the back end of this to get your stuff out on time.
Change it to 3-day handling, folks. That's what I did.
So you're sitting around selling stuff. You're like, I got to get this stuff. You got 100 days to ship.
I just want to thank the three of you guys for letting me. I needed to do this. I asked Mike to do this because I can't handle the questions that are coming in, and I feel bad for some folks, because my audience, I told this Josh to begin with. I said there will be thousands of clicks on this thing and research, and there will be very few conversions because I know my audience. That's exactly what's happened. Although there's quite a few, 3 people signed up today. I just needed an outlet to answer and give some perspective for a lot of these people. That's why I pushed them over here to do this. Because if I did this on my channel, they'd be like, "Dude, I'm tired. I just want to see
Kevin
the
wants
dogs.
to kill our channel.
I want to kill."
Thanks, buddy.
No, I thought it was interesting because I was kind of skeptical because I just I'm not against AI stuff, but like I mean, trying out the bulk lister on eBay was kind of what I was thinking that this was going to be.
Yeah.
It was like, and the way you made it sounds like it was way smarter. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested, but I don't think I list enough to actually that it would help me right now.
Dan.
Like
you could. I'm gonna get Ray Nashville Flipper on here to push
Hey,
you a little bit.
What I want people to understand, because we're reaching the end of this, and I want to give these 2 guys opportunity to say some parting words. But before that, anybody that's still on the fence about this, anybody that's skeptical, please understand Kevin is somebody that does his due diligence and everything. We understand. We give him a hard time about the supply hut. That was completely out of
that was you. That wasn't me. I didn't say one word about it.
That was no. I'm talking about in general. When this happened, like everybody pointed fingers at Kevin, like he started the damn business. Like he's like, dude, I ain't doing the boxes. I don't know. But
I knew it wasn't his fault to begin with.
He does his due diligence and he does his research, and for him to partner with Josh, or even be I say partner in the wrong sense of the word, for him to associate with Josh, it is because in hating change, he took his time to make sure it was the right choice. A lot of y'all can put weight into that, and then you take Josh for exactly what he says. And the fact that, yes, everybody is skeptical of AI. A lot of people are because people fear the unknown.
I talked to
but you have to
all the time now.
weigh that. You have to weigh the skepticism versus the actual complaints. And he says we get a lot of skeptics, but we don't have the complaints.
Okay.
There will be some. There's undoubtedly. I see
of
a few
course
in my comments. It happens. People want to be, that's just it's
You
gonna
want to go
happen.
by Muffin?
But if you research it and fit, what did you say?
He wants to be like Muffin.
No,
Muffin is our hate watcher.
Yes.
Well, it can be, guys, a tough pill to swallow. If you've been listing for 15 years and you have a certain way to do it, and all of a sudden, there's a program that can do it better, faster, everything else. That's a tough pill to swallow. It was a tough pill to swallow for me too. But believe me when I say this is going to be the only way to list. The platforms want accuracy so they can train their own AIs. And you're not going to get that accuracy from a human lister. I mean, even if, let's say, Joe does a really good job, there might be somebody else who doesn't, and that already screws up the database.
Joe gets a lot of returns.
But
is Bonanza going to be able to handle AI? Because I'm thinking Bonanza.
I had a Bonanza sale today. I sold a watch. I wish I could get off of Bonanza, but I got all these Bonanza coins. I gotta use up. So I might quit it anyways.
But it's priced for adoption. No one's running away with bags of money or fortunes here. This is priced for adoption. We want people using it. We want to fully integrate with all the platforms. And, we're in this for the long haul. So that's what I would say to people: that give it a try, use your 10 free listings. If you got stuff you think that this program will fit with, use Kevin's code. It's $40 and you can cancel. You can hammer up your death pile and then, whatever you want. But what we have found is that once people use this, they don't want to list the old fashioned way anymore. They're like, I can't go back.
The time to learn it.
Yeah, once you take the time to learn it.
And I did even, and I'm still not perfect, but I get it. And that's saying something. I just wanted my last words, just thank to Josh. Josh didn't have to include me in this. Josh he didn't have to offer a discount to my audience. I appreciate, that on that end. And you haven't passed out to his credibility here. He hasn't passed out affiliate codes and tried to grow this thing massively in 5 minutes, because it's not the responsible thing to do, because you have to give customer support, and he did that with me. I appreciate that, Josh. So thank you.
And guys, thank you for having us on. And Kevin, thank you, as well for inviting me and coming on here. I appreciate the tougher questions as well, because I enjoy talking about this. I can geek out about this, and I can go on for hours about this. So thank you all for bringing me on, and it was exciting. I appreciate you all.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget, click code Commonwealth. I don't use it at Tim Hortons also, Josh. I'm sure it works there. I don't know. It's everywhere. It's a disease. Dan, you got anything to whine about before we go?
No.
How's your feet?
I bought some OOFAs.
Ooh,
really? Hey, tell us about it real quick.